All right, everybody. Welcome back for another one. And I decided today was a 2 video type of day again because mostly I wanted to put all that stellar info into one because I had some other stuff on the back end that I wanted to cover that was just a little too random to throw in that. So, to start things off, taking a look at the Bitcoin chart once again, right? So, we're getting a little pullback today. I don't know if it's the anticipation of the Tether news or it's a just because yesterday we were up. But expect more volatility, I would say, over the next month or so in this area. And I will continue to leave this pattern up here to see how this plays out, just because I want to show you, right now, history rhymes pretty well with Bitcoin. So, this is the first little consolidation top in the 2017 bull cycle. I believe it took us, well, let's just go back to make sure I have the info right. So this one comes from the run that took us up to 3,000 and back down to about 1,800, right? So all things equal, that was about a 40% drop. If you lay this over, it's still looking pretty accurate with the chart, right? So if things play out similarly, we'll see continuation up, maybe run all the way up to 53,000, right? And then of course everyone's going to be bullish, right? Bitcoin 50k, 52k, 53k, right? You'll start getting the tweets on Twitter again. Bitcoin never going to go down. We're all going to get rich. Euphoria, thrill, all that good stuff. And then it dumps, right? And then some more consolidation, and then it'll dump again, right? If history plays out, we'll see. I think we could see something like this. Ultimately, I think it leads to a bottom being found and continuation up, and I think that's when you might really start to get the explosion in altcoins, because people, as I'm going to talk about a little later on, as the market continues up, people will continue to take on more risk, right? And that's just like finance 101. All right. Another favorite chart of mine, ELASTOS finally getting some push. Again, we'll see if we can sustain it. The issue with ELASTOS lately has not been pumps. It's been sustaining them, right? But in the past 2 weeks, we're up about 100% on ELASTOS. So it's looking great, especially today, because as I just showed you, Bitcoin's dumping right now. It's down almost 9% on the day, whereas ELASTOS has hardly budged. It ran all the way up to almost $3 today, right? So we can see what happens. As I shown you here, Mark II resistance areas. I think right now we're hitting the first one, and this dates back, honestly, to the first little top we found in February of last year. So we're hitting that area, see if we can get over it. The next one is going to be about $3.34 area. If we get through that, I think we'll see a pretty quick move up to $5. We'll see what happens, but we're fighting it right here. ELASTOS has had a lot of bullish news lately. You didn't see it, I showed you yesterday. Feng Han, co-founder of ELASTOS, tweeted out that they reached an official strategic cooperation with the Fuzhou government and signed an agreement on the Credit Oracle project. All right, so they're building on the ELASTOS decentralized identity and ELA link, right, with the government in China. So one thing to note too, somebody else pointed out to me. He also indicated here. He said the next announcement, I would assume, will be huge. So they're working away over there with the government. As I said, I think the ties run a lot deeper than people know, and stay tuned, right? Chart's starting to finally show the positive news, all right? I think a lot of this was related. What's really going to blow this price up, I think, is when the Chinese investors start flowing into it. Because as I mentioned, I honestly don't see many Chinese projects that are as good as ELASTOS. I think it's the best. I think it is one of the best in crypto as a whole. I think eventually we'll see that expressed in the price action. Another chart that I really love, and I hope, this is a stock, right? Digitrade Financial. I've been trying to tell people this is one that I got in on. It's still looking great. So great, right? Because historically speaking, right, this has been a downtrend since 2005, right? In 2017, in the last crypto pump, it tried so hard to get over the moving averages and everything, but it's just been in a downtrend, steady downtrend. And right now, well, we broke that downtrend for one. We got up above it. You can draw that in there real quick. Just 1 second. Get it. It should look something like this. As you can see, we're up over it. That's a great sign. I really think that from here, if we can get a pump over, obviously you see some resistance in here around the 2 cent area. If we get up over that, I mean, this thing could just run like crazy. As I showed you before, it's been as high as $1, $1.20 in the last crypto bull cycle. Right now, we're at 0.6 of a penny. So, a lot of upside, little downside. Got the cross on the moving averages, which we've never seen in the history of this price chart. And we broke the downtrend. So, pretty bullish chart. All right, a few news pieces I wanted to cover. First and foremost, after Ethereum, the next stop will be higher risk alts, says Bitcoin investor Raul Paul. So I just wanted to point this out because, as I said in the beginning of the video, I think he's right? That eventually, right, when we get our first bounce, basically consolidation, a dip, and continuation up with Bitcoin, I think that's when we'll probably see a real alt season kickoff, right? Because people are going to see, okay, it's moving along, it's continuing up, it's 50,000, whatever. Ethereum might be 2, 3, 4, 5,000, but you're just not seeing those gains, right? I mean, obviously those are great returns, but people always get greedy, right? It can't fail, right? So they will continue to trickle down into more risky assets. And honestly, in financial education in general, that's basically finance 101, right? In a bull market, as the bull continues to go, people tend to want to take on more risk, right? When they see that the bull market's slowing down or entering a bear market, people want to reduce risk. That's just how it works, right? So, not going to read the entire article. I just wanted to point this out. People will continue to trickle down. So if you're getting impatient and you're trying to trade in and out of your positions, that might not be the best option. It might be best to just sit tight with what you got, right? Maybe add to your positions if they haven't moved. Not financial advice, just my personal opinion. All right. Riot Blockchain announces new advisory board member. So if you're following Riot, just wanted to cover this real quick. So they added Mason Joppa, who is the co-founder of Blockware, which Blockware has placed over 45 megawatts for hosted clients, sold over 200,000 ASIC miners, operates a validator node for Scale, Affinity, Ethereum, and has created one of the largest US-based Bitcoin mining pools in Blockware Pool. He says, by sharing my expertise in optimizing operations, enhancing marketing strategies, and pushing forward our shared goal of decentralizing Bitcoin mining hash rate by increasing the American footprint in the space. All right, so that's what they're trying to accomplish with Riot. As I've shown you, Riot is already one of the biggest mining facilities in the US, if not the biggest, based on hash rate. And it's only expanding this year. I wouldn't be surprised to see them buy even more ASIC miners, right? One thing I also wanted to point out there, if you're into Riot or even if you work at Riot by chance listening to this, it might be in Riot's best interest to start scaling into stuff like this, right? Operating validator nodes for some of the proof of stake platforms. Because, having mining as the sole focus is cool and all, but you can sometimes achieve better returns on these proof of stake cryptos. They're more risk, but obviously way less energy consumption, and they offer the percentage returns as well. So kind of serves as a growth stock with dividends. That's kind of how I see it. But all right, moving on to the next one. I haven't listened to this yet personally. I want to, but basically, so the Hugo Filion, I guess is his name, the co-founder of Flare, did an interview with this guy Santiago Velez, and he basically just explains what Flare is trying to do, how it's incorporating the consensus mechanisms of XRP and smart contracts of Ethereum to try and make a more efficient blockchain, with lower fees and so on. But anyway, I need to listen to this. If you have any interest, definitely go check it out if you want to learn more about Flare. All right. Couple more things. Gnosis receives 2.3 billion Ethereum in a day. Now the third largest ETH holder with 2.2% of the supply. Wanted to point this out because this is pretty crazy, right? So Gnosis multi-sig storage safe received a deposit of 1.5 million Ethereum on Thursday, which is worth over 1.7 billion at the time of the transaction. So they went from nothing to third place, largest Ethereum holder, basically overnight. So Gnosis, the ticker is GNO, I believe. Yes. All right. So this platform's been out since 2017. Started as a prediction market, but has basically expanded into a lot of different DeFi stuff. Right, as I say here, right? Yeah. Expanded into numerous corners of DeFi. Wanted to point this out because they, for one, have a massive holding of Ethereum, and two, obviously they're gaining attention. So if there's something you have interest in, looking at the chart also looks good from a technical standpoint. It's been recovering since March, pretty much slow and steady. Hasn't had any crazy breakouts, but it had a low of $6, and now it's all the way up to 104. So it's had highs as high as $500. I wouldn't be surprised to see it continue up to that level or higher. Obviously given a new bull market, and like I said, as people seek more risk. Could be a play to look at. Not something I'm very interested in, but nonetheless intriguing that they have so much Ethereum. All right. Lastly, completely unrelated to crypto, I just find it kind of creepy, to say the least. So America's biggest owner of farmland is now Bill Gates. Wow, look at that. The man behind the plan with the digital identity and the vaccines is also the largest owner in farmland. I'm sure this ends well, right? I'm not sure I want this guy, deciding what happens with the food that we ingest, right? Who knows? Not going to read the article. Thought that was, I don't know, something to bring to your attention. All right. Hope that was informative. As always, please like and subscribe, share with your friends and family, and stay tuned for the next one. Thanks.
What is a cashless society? What does it actually mean in a literal or high-level sense?
Money will become like these, relics of a different age, and will only be found in places like this. In other words, hard cash will disappear. It will become electronic, transferred by things like these.
Then Tracy is in Beijing to show us what a nearly cashless society actually looks like. Ben, good morning.
Mobile payment transactions in China reached a cumulative total of 277.4 trillion RMB in 2018, ranking #1 in the world, according to the recently released statistical report on internet development in China. As of June 2019, online payment users in the country reached 633 million. The cashless society is now approaching.
When's the last time you paid with cash? Well, chances are cash has taken a backseat to the plastic in your wallet and smartphone pay apps.
Denver 7's Ryan Luby explains the digital pay revolution and why not everyone is on board.
The cashless society, the cashless society.
The cashless society.
The cashless society is now approaching.
The cashless society.